Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. We're playing in the Legacy League with a Flameblast Elementalist, and we only use magical items as a self-imposed restriction. Today we're gonna run the cruel Labyrinth.
You stand before the gates of the Lord's Labyrinth. Within these walls, the Lady sent with precision.
Level 58, it's level 55 area, soon to be 59, so I'm slightly overleveled. So that is to my advantage. I am well maxed out in terms of elemental resists. I even have 25 chaos resistance here in Cruel. So in terms of preparations for Merciless, I've done about all I can do. Lovely. Let's see. So a bit of a context switch. I have been playing the beta for well over a month now. And all I did to warm up for this was to run Dried Lake twice, just to get a bit of a feel for the character. But it still feels a little odd. Luckily, in only a couple more days, 3.0 will actually go live. But tonight is my very final opportunity to play in 2.6 in Legacy League. I'm gonna see if in one night I can make it through Cruel Lab, and after that the entirety of Merciless, in order to see if we can wrap this series up, or at least die somewhere along the lines. Okay, not a lot of interesting drops here, fortunately. Okay, that is 59. Oh, there are some things here that want to murder me. The Scorching Ray Totem really helps in that regard. So we were tying up the Sign Life Wheel. After this, next goal is going to be the Sentinel, as well as the 3 resistance things next to it, and then the dual socket here. So this in total is going to get me 28 to all resists, and leveling, or the Labyrinth here, is going to get me another 6 to all elemental resists for the node over here. So that's together is 24 to all resists, which should get me to the reasonably into the 60 or so % in Merciless. So well, actually we already lost 20% here, so it's going to be only another 40 on top. So it's going to be only 115. Okay, actually I'll take it back. We should be in the 60s with the Labyrinth completion. And then the additional skill points that we will pick up early on in Merciless will help us max out, and after that to overcap the resists. So we can actually deal a little bit with some curses, and later on with maps with reduced max resists. But of course the first goal is simply going to be to cap the resists. Everything else is going to be a bonus. Before we can do that, we do need to work our way through. Okay, it's almost like we're walking through tar here. Ah, wait, we are. Holes in the floor, never a big fan, tend to hurt. You have been skewered from the looks of it, ghost. Okay. Will take risk for loot. Can I teleport through? I cannot. Ah, there. It's weird coming from the top side of the map. I'm gonna assume we have to head to the bottom here. The opposite of what I normally do, which is head towards the top of the map. Okay, burning ground. That worked out rather well. Okay, we'll just walk out of there. Let the minions get roasted or something. Oh, lovely. Right, these are rarely required events. They're just there for bonus chests, which of course I don't care about. Yeah, Mysterious Dark Shrine. Gonna skip it. And we'll just move forward. Ooh, always lovely when they get skewered. That takes us to the mansion halls. It's a golden door, which means there must be a golden key somewhere. Funny enough, earlier today this really is all backwards, isn't it? Because normally this is the way to the key. Earlier today I finished recording my final beta playthrough videos. No spoilers, we won't be at ease, but I did end up in a situation where I was a bit underleveled for Merciless Lab. And doing Merciless Lab underleveled was, well, still a painful experience. And then the first thing I do on this playthrough is doing Cruel Lab, so that's an interesting transition. Of course, Beta Lab is optimized, shorter, more pleasant and more rewarding to play through. Here it's still same old, same old. It's interesting. It's always a relative. It can be tough. It can be very damaging, very scary. Definitely a test to see how well you can play your character, and as well as just how well geared you are. There's definitely a bit of a gear check in there. Okay, kind of came from there. Oh look, lever. And then I'm assuming the annex is going to be where the key is. Ah yes, still predictable. That's good. Okay, so far so good. Oop. Maybe having played a very maneuverable assassin, no, not assassin, shadow trickster for a while, helped me be a little bit nimble here. I recall sometimes my Labyrinth playthroughs being less than fluent in that regard. Okay, this is a bit of a dead end, that's unfortunate. Also, it would be lovely to actually channel here. Exactly. It's funny, my casting speed is like 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 cycles per second, so I need 1.3 seconds to get the full 10 stacks going. Still feels rather slow, even though it actually is pretty darn fast. Just a different perspective, I guess, compared to an attack-based build. I always very much get into the mindset of a build, and it takes me a little bit of time to switch around. What can we do with this? I did upgrade some of the gear, managed to craft this one for some all resist and a new amulet. This used to be a rather potent talisman. So that's one of those cursed blue things that gave me a bunch of extra mana, life, as well as strength, if I remember correctly. Fortunately, there were no resists on there, and resistances will be a problem the moment we set foot in Merciless, hence the changing gear. So the life and energy shield and mana totals are lower than they were before, but that is to boost my resists. And that's when I realized, like, oh wait, I still need to do the Cruel Lab. Well, at least this way we can do it with new gear. You'll be that. Okay, we're just gonna follow you. Yes. Okay. That almost worked out. Luckily, the golems are more likely to get skewered than I am.
Where there's a golden key, there must be a golden door.
I knew he was gonna say that. It's almost like he does that every time. And then we have to get back. Get back! Luckily, this should help us. Well, theoretically, it should have helped. In practice, unfortunately, it was not all that great. Okay, poem, and then we just take the way back. Back to where we came from. Flame Dash still is an amazingly useful skill for the Labyrinth.
Let the day dawn golden with possibility.
Ooh, Blessed Orb. Lovely. Is there anything actually that could benefit from it? 14%, but the implicit of the 8% could be 12% now, so probably not worth using a Blessed Orb to upgrade it. Probably just want a new one with a better roll.
The weary traveler draws close to the end of the path.
And I should not put currency in there, because that will just accumulate. We have a currency tab for that.
It is the sovereign who empowers the scepter, not the other way round. No two battles are alike.
Okay, that is the first down. Exactly. Okay, it's burning, that's great. Burning as well.
Even
Excellent.
the great scepter of God shall claim your inheritance.
Okay. Go mind over matter. Whenever I'm taking damage on my life, a third of it is taken from my mana. And he's gone. Excellent. So we survived the first stage. Taking a single blow or set of blows to my life and therefore my mana. But other than that, managed to do it all on energy shield. Let's double check what is the layout here. Okay, once distraction, one way forward. We'll see. Okay, looks like there's no traps here. Might as well kill things. We got some charges. Oh yeah, I'm actually trying to pick up a new habit. This one is not perfect, but it is good enough. So let's see, just spend a single orb of transmutation, see if we can get a good roll. I don't like the mana regen on the rings. Want either life or resists, not mana regen. But I realized I'm drowning in orbs of transmutation. And turning an orb of transmutation into an orb of alteration using the vendors will take you 16 transmutes for a single alt. Because now you need to first pass it through the orbs of augmentation at a 4:1 ratio. So it's more efficient to simply just transmute just about every white item that could potentially be useful in order to see if you can get decent prefix on it, or suffix, or any kind of roll, rather than having one item and just alting it. Because if you basically have 16 base items and you just transmute them all once, that's the same as applying a single orb of alteration once in terms of currency value. It's funny how that changes the perspective a little bit. Okay, we don't see where we are. Sanatorium halls. So let's see. That was the way forward. Excellent. And it looks like we actually started on the bottom sometime, so we can actually move to the top here. Oh, over chance. Must have. Okay, is there a decent way forward here? Yeah. Okay, hello Ghosty. Could you maybe stand still or something? I don't think so. Jagged Mole. Spook X, that sounds like a side area. Exactly, that's not where we want to be. Also, might as well resummon my golems. And then we'll just keep pushing further north. Interesting. That's only good. Cold damage to spells, that's not what we want. Could mess with our... what's the thing I called again? Elemental Equilibrium.
Comes to strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation. To entertain doubt is to dance with death.
It's a really, really poor roll, is it? That's not gonna be it. Oh. We have a little bit too many of those. Okay, and indeed no things got absorbed, so let's push forward. Let's see what the second trial is gonna be.
The emperor beckons and the world attends.
Portals. Okay, I like portals. Okay.
Give up yourself.
Good thing is, I don't strictly need to be there. Because the Scorching Ray Totem really does do quite some damage as well. Two. There we go. Good. So no bonus strength for Izaro in the final fight. No extra minions, no distractions, no things to murder me. The less things that can go wrong, the better it is. Excellent.
An emperor alone is just a man.
Okay, things looked a little glitchy there. Well, luckily they worked out. Would have been too bad if the game had crashed or something after 2 successful trials. Or 2 out of 3 successful battles, I should say. It's very windy. It's all the rooms just snaking from one to the other. And there we are, a sepulchre passage. This could be the end room, could be that the end room is one next, but either way this looks like it's in the right direction. So we'll stay here. We'll stay for a while. Not gonna be any listening though. That would be another game. Okay. Remember that thing I said when I kind of deftly moved between the traps before the first fight? Yeah, ignore that. I'm just glotzing through things as usual. I did not learn anything from playing a nimble shadow. It was all just a figment of my imagination. Dodging traps is still hard. Okay, mansion hall. There's only one way out, so that is nice. Then the final room is indeed building off from here. Oh, and I reflect one of the reasons why I figured we should do the cruel lab actually here rather than waiting for a bit is because the next one is gonna, or the next Ascendancy upgrade is gonna get us 50% elemental reflection damage reduction, which is not something that is a bonus. It's actually pretty important because we deal quite some damage with the blows. That actually doesn't make sense, the bonus. And I did nearly lose the character once. Back in normal could have been cruel, but at least I did nearly lose the character already to reflect, and their mind over matter literally made the difference between living and dying. But not having to rely on that, or basically having a little bit more wiggle room, something I definitely will appreciate. Okay, standing a little too tanky here for my tastes, but well, Flameground kind of does force me to be a bit more aggressive than I would prefer to be. Come on, explode. Good minion. Aspirant's trial. The final one.
An aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor must keep those promises.
Oh, and again, that was a currency. Currency is going to currency box. Okay, so I did have a prophecy. Defeat the Zorro and the Divine Font will grant you 2 enchantment opportunities. So that means we can enchant both our gloves as well as our boots. Let's see what we can get out of that. Or double enchant the gloves if we didn't get anything good on the first try. But first, survive this. Very, very simple. Survive. Okay. You charge, I charge.
Rise to the occasion.
Okay. Play a game of
A golden
kill
device,
the SRO.
rotting emperor overflows with power.
Okay. Ascendancy chamber.
Your emperor, you are worthy. Before the goddess of justice, you are worthy. Receive our blessings, embrace our gifts, and rise ascendant. For this is the ending that we all deserve.
Conjurer boots. Oh yeah, I was using soldier boots here because of the gem colors. Makes sense. Okay. And let's do some divining. Attacked with Edict of War on a kill. So what does that do? This attack is performed repeatedly by a ghostly imitation of your weapon. The damage of that one is gonna be rubbish, because I don't actually do anything with that, so let's try again. Cast Edict of the Tempest on hit. Charges you with lightning, which lasts a duration before unleashing, damaging surrounding enemies. That's 17 to 2600 lightning damage. Lasts for 2 seconds, can't be reflected once every 10 seconds. Okay, I think I like it. Can't say anything else about it. But then of course, the thing we really came for here. Ascending. And we become a paragon of calamity. We slightly increase the elemental damage we deal. Our elemental resists are now even higher than before. And our Flameblast does more damage. But the 50% reduced reflected elemental damage taken is the key here that will allow us to survive a little more easily on Merciless. And whenever I get hit by elemental damage, then I get 40% increased damage of the element and 8% reduced element of the element as well. So that would be lovely. And now we can truly move onwards to Merciless, where currently we have between 54 and 72 elemental resists. Chaos is at negative 15, so we can definitely use a small upgrade to our gear. But most of the slots do have some measure of elemental resist, so there's not a lot of room for improvement left. Potentially the mana regen we could replace with a single resist. Would be lovely to get some chaos res on here. On the other hand, 1 level, 2, 3, then 4 skill points gets us another 10, and 7 in total gets us another 18 to all resists. So we are set up rather well. So with that, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time in Merciless Act 1. Bye bye.